Hello everyone and welcome to World of Darkness, a new show. About 2 weeks of a break in between the previous show and this one, and we do have a lot of news to cover today. So that's why we won't unfortunately have Hadi with Family Spotlight here with us today. We will bring you more spotlight from the community in the coming episodes, but today we're going to focus not only on bringing you the general news that are coming from various sites of World of Darkness, but especially covering the recap of yesterday's stream from Renegade. Yesterday, if you're watching us on stream, 2 days ago, if that was YouTube, if you're here on YouTube with us, you can go to Renegade YouTube channel to watch the full stream called Just Wait, which is the general recap of awaiting for Gen Con and awaiting for the future and awaiting for this year's releases from Renegade, and they gave us a very big starting section of that stream to cover a lot of more news about World of Darkness TTRPG products and the new releases and the pre-orders and also the dates. So we have some very exciting dates for you regarding the future releases. So let's go into that one by one, starting with what you are probably waiting for the most, which is the TTRPGs. So when it comes to the dates, let's start with probably the most exciting date for everyone, which is the date of the very first time you will be able to put your hands on Vampire the Masquerade Player's Guide. And that is March 27th for the PDF, available for those of you who are going to, or who have already pre-ordered Player's Guide in the hardcover version. You will be able to get that in the PDF version on the March 27th. So for those of you who pre-ordered the hardcover edition, the free PDF is going to be available for you in your basket, just like you can download it from the Renegade site on March 27th. So yeah, if you pre-ordered, this is something available for you, and I really hope that you will enjoy this book full of things we've covered in the past. I won't be going through the list today, but if you're interested, you can check out the past What News episodes that are specifically talking about Player's Guide. We had a lot shared already about the contents of this book. Now, when it comes to something that comes sooner in the PDF version, also for those of you who pre-ordered the physical editions, you will receive the PDF of Hunter the Reckoning, Lines Drawn in Blood, and Hunter the Reckoning Storyteller Screen and Toolkit on March 8th. So that is available just next week on Wednesday for those of you who pre-ordered. Lines Drawn in Blood is a collection of Hunter's stories. So for those of you who want to basically have ready-made chronicles to use at Hunter the Reckoning tables, this is the book for you. It has not only the stories themselves, but also the characters which you can play, and you can either play the story solo in very short sort of a chronicle, or combine them all in a very long and nice chronicle together. So they are all in different sort of themes and showing different kinds of antagonists as well. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, you can check it more on the Renegade page as well as on the previous World News show, in which we dwelt a little bit deeper into Lines Drawn in Blood. So yeah, both Lines Drawn in Blood and the Storyteller's Screen and Toolkit for Hunter the Reckoning will also be available in PDF for those of you who pre-ordered physical edition for free on Renegade site. Now, when it comes to this little image that you can see in here, which you might recognize the art style already, Mark Kelly, who is one of the lead artists behind the 5th edition, Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, as well as Hunter, the author of the cover for Hunter the Reckoning 5th edition. This is a sneak peek of the art on the cover of Blood Sigils, and Blood Sigils is announced to be available in retail on Gen Con, and that is early August. So it's going to be available for everyone in early August. I believe Gen Con is like the first week of August. That also means that the PDF is going to be available for you earlier, of course, if you pre-order Blood Sigils, and if will be awaiting the retail release on the Gen Con, but we do not have the date for the PDF just yet. So unfortunately, I can't give you the date for that one. But March 27th, Player's Guide, for those of you who pre-ordered, PDF will be in your inboxes, or just download it on the Renegade site, or if you have your basket with things that you bought on the Renegade set, it's going to be there available for download. Lines Drawn in Blood, Storyteller's Toolkit for Hunter, available on March 8th. So these are the updates when it comes to the dates and availability. But there is more. Like they've announced a lot of things yesterday. One of the things that we actually had a lot of questions about from the community, and that was something about bringing something back from the past, which you may recall from after V5 released. Originally, we did have those cool cards on which you could basically very quickly check the powers, the discipline powers and the blood sorcery rituals and all of the mechanics for that. So what's up with these? Well, Renegade is working on a brand new version of them. They're not going to be a recreation of the previous ones, more like something completely new, something completely redone. And these cards are going to cover all the powers available in Vampire the Masquerade core book, as well as Player's Guide. So that's, I believe, 212 cards total, tarot-sized, perfect to use at the table if you want to just very quickly look up what you can do, what your enemies can do, what your fellow players can do. I think it's 212, I believe. You correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's you can see the full amount of these cards on the Renegade side as well. There's going to be a link down below if you are watching us on YouTube. And yeah, they're going to be available soon. We don't have the hard date just yet, except for that there's going to be an early version of these available on Gen Con. So you will be able to grab them on Gen Con, check them out if you want to. And the final release is planned for around October. So we are looking at the release of them later on this year. And some other questions were answered from the community as well. So a lot of people were asking about Chicago by Night and its availability in retail as well as the hardcover edition. So Chicago is coming back into print, and it's going to be available in Q3 this year for everyone. Now, the changes are, as Sarah mentioned on the Renegade's stream, very minor. So the changes from the previous version are minor. If you do own the previous version, then you don't have to worry. But yeah, if you want to still grab Chicago by Night Renegade edition in the hardcover edition, it's going to be available in the Q3 this year. Now, there's more. For those of you who do not like to lose your dice, we will have also Vampire and Hunter dice bags available. And as Sarah mentioned in the stream, they are not the tiny bags for your dice. They're actually hand-sized. They're quite cool. Like you can fit your whole hand inside if you want to. So these are available for pre-order as well. They're pretty cheap and handy. And yeah, you should treat your dice well, because if you don't, then they can just rebel against you. It usually happens to me. I don't know why, but the virtual dice treat me better than the physical ones. So like physical ones just hate me, but the virtual ones like me always. So yeah, dice bags available for pre-order right now. And yeah, they also mentioned something more about one thing I did tease to you before, which is the free chronicles available for storytellers who storytell in public. So if you are storytelling on streams, podcasts, YouTube, in your local game stores, as well as on conventions, and if you are showing your chronicles to more people, you can apply to Play a Renegade program on Renegade site. You just gotta go to community and then Play a Renegade. And in this program, you will receive free chronicles to run at your tables. And these chronicles will be available later on for a small fee for people who just want to buy them to play at home. But for those of you who are playing publicly, to give you back for your wonderful job of spreading the news about Vampire and Hunter, you will get these for free. And the first one, which is called A Last Dance at Reynolds, actually got the little teaser from Renegade when it comes to the contents. And I think it's a very interesting teaser. So they said it's about a bunch of neonates who are without their mentors, and they must entertain a special powerful guest of the party to survive the night. I found this a super interesting concept, and I really want to check it out, because I find these like one-shot chronicles, which are about we either do good or we die, to be very interesting. So I am very much looking forward to this one. Now, more news also for those of you who are into virtual tabletops. I know that we always get a lot of questions about these and whether there's going to be new books available in the VTTs. Renegade has announced that they are working hard with Fantasy Grounds to bring all Vampire, Hunter, and future Werewolf 5th edition content to Fantasy Grounds. More news to come in about a month from what they said on the stream. So yeah, this is a lot of news regarding the updates for the TTRPG and the new products and new pre-orders, you can check them all on the Renegade site. We are also going to gradually post them on our social media. So if you missed anything from this list, you will see it on our socials, on either Twitter, Facebook. There's also a full list on Discord if you want to check it out. And I also get the little message here that for those of you interested in the discipline cards and the power cards, there's 136 discipline cards, 38 Blood Sorcery Ritual cards, 9 Oblivion Ceremony cards, 17 Fiendblood Alchemy Formula cards, and 2 reference cards. So that's the full list. All right, let's see what are the other news. And this is actually super exciting, and I'm so waiting for that. Vampire the Masquerade Rivals, the card game, is announcing a new expansion is one word, but this is actually a core game. You can use just this box to play Vampire the Masquerade Rivals. You don't need the base game in order to play the whole game. So this box not only introduces 2 more clans, but also 2 hunter decks. So we have vampires versus hunters, we have ministry and caitiff vampires, as well as faithful and inquisitive hunters in the 4 decks and this core set. So all you need is this box in order to play Rivals with those 4 interesting player picks, basically. And I do wonder how it's going to look like. I'm definitely looking forward to a more deep dive from the designers of Rivals to know whether you can play, and you probably can, as a hunter versus a hunter and a vampire versus the vampire, because you pick the rivals in this game in a way that this could be possible at the table. So the hunters are actually playing against each other. I'm very much looking forward to Ministry being added, and also how caitiff are going to work out mechanically. We've had a lot of coverage for the previous Rivals expansions here on the news show, but I do recommend to check out the Renegade channel if you want to know more about Rivals, because they're covering tournaments, they're covering the design, the playthroughs, they're giving sneak peeks of the cards, so they have a lot of really juicy content for Rivals on their YouTube channel and their Twitch as well. They are hosting Vampire Wednesdays, during which you are able to get to know more about these cards. So yeah, I recommend to grab Rivals if you haven't just yet. It's a super cool game, and you can play as I think right now with this expansion it's going to be most of the clans, because Salubri was recently added with Ravnos in the recent expansion. So there's a lot of clans to choose, and the clans in this game very much represent what they do in a tabletop game. I personally played as the Toreador and Malkavian, the most in Bruja ones as well. And when I was playing as these clans, I felt like I would roleplay them. As a Toreador, I was amassing human herds around me. I was basically sucking the energy from the, like, apart from the blood, of course, but I was sucking the reputation and everything from the humans around me, and I was just becoming stronger with that. As a Malkavian, a lot of scheming, a lot of knowing things when others don't know things. Also very cool experience. And as a Bruja, you go in the streets and you punch people, which is a great experience as well. I recommend to check out this card game if you want something at first pretty long. I feel like when you just sit down to it for the first time, you're gonna have like a 1 hour of gameplay. Once you get better at understanding the rules, so you don't have to check them, it's much quicker. It's like 30 minutes per game. So a really cool game, and now the expansion with the hunters, super excited about it. So yeah, let's check out more. Oh, by the way, also Gen Con is going to have a huge presence of Rivals. So if you are into this game, if you want to play with people, if you want to get some previews, then do go to Gen Con and check it out, and follow Renegade news around Gen Con for more of Rivals. And now for Vampire the Masquerade Swansong. It is coming to Steam as with similarly to Earthblood back in the days. Swansong released with 1-year exclusivity for Epic Game Store. It was also available on consoles, so those of you who played already, you could play it on both PC and on consoles, but this time it's going to be available on Steam. So for those of you Steam players, May 18th is the release date for Swansong, and it's going to be available on May May 18th on there, and you can also add it to your wish list right now if you want to. This game is super fun. It's a RPG game, kind of in the style of, let's say, The Council meets Detroit Become Human meets investigation games. Like, there's a lot of sleuthing in this game, a lot of trying to snoop the details, and you play as Toriator, Ventru, and Malkavian in different scenes, super different characters, and they're one of the really, I think, coolest displays of vampire disciplines in this game from all of the vampire media I've seen so far. It's super fun, and yeah, Steam release available on May 18th if you haven't grabbed it just yet. And last but not least, we also have updates for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt, my little favorite, which I spent way too much in. Again, I am sucked into this game, but this time we have a new combat and power update. I gotta say, after they've announced that they are making the team working on Bloodhunt smaller, I have a weird feeling that they are actually getting out more updates. So thank you so much, Sharkbook, for giving us so much content for this game and working hard on it so we get updates so often. This update is not only answering a lot of the community questions regarding the balancing of the powers. So the biggest changes that you can expect when you are playing Bloodhunt are for the archetypes Vandal, Brute, Siren, and Prowler. You can expect a lot of buffing, so there's going to be a lot of things in the game which are going to be powered up to be better and bigger, and that is weapons, archetype powers, and blood resonance progression. Blood resonance progression in general and the blood resonance system has been overworked. There's no cap on the resonances anymore, so you don't have to only, stop at the free choleric or free sanguine. You can get up to 12, I believe. There's a lot of things which you can pump up with this blood. And there's also more systems added to the game. One system which is going to be, I think, very interesting in the long term is the artifact system, in which you can find very special artifacts on the map that give you additional abilities. The very first artifact introduced is called the Expeditus Boots, and it allows you to double jump, which I know some of you can do it with a little tweaking of your melee weapons, but this time you will be able to do it more reliably using this artifact, and more to come. So that's super interesting. Also, dual shotguns were added as a new weapon, and there is Camarilla chest rework. They are appearing in the different locations right now, and you have to use your heightened senses in order to find them. So it's and it really puts more impact on you using your vampire senses and all specs in order to find where these chests are. Plus, of course, fixes, improvements, and all the rest that you can find out on the Bloodhunt website in the patch notes. There's a lot of new things in this build. Thank you so much, Sharkmob, for continuously updating the game and giving us content. Bloodhunt player numbers are rising steadily. I am so happy to see more and more people playing. I am personally, being in Europe, I never really had huge difficulties finding matches, but recently they've been super quick, and actually playing in the DMs, I find no bots, because there used to be the time where they would fill the matches with bots in order to make sure that you get the matches faster, but recently I've been playing for a few evenings and I had no bots in my games, so it's really, really fun. And yeah, I hope that you will enjoy Bloodhunt after this patch, and do let them know about your feedback, because they're always looking forward to hear more from their players. And that will be all for the What News today. I hope that you enjoyed it all. If you've missed anything, I know that the list for TTRPG updates especially was long. Go to our Discord at discord.gg/wordofdarkness. In the announcement channels, you will have the full list, and we will also gradually post this news on social media as the week goes, so you will be able to get them all in the text form as well. And I will see you again in the next World of Darkness news show. In the meantime, do not get lost in the night. And for those of you who are watching us on Twitch, do stick around for the Q&A. Bye!